I have left the States and I have traveled back to Canada, and I'm staying with my friend Laura, and I wanted to share something with you today. This is just the sort of thing that happens on a whim and becomes a vision in my head, and I love when the vision becomes a reality. So this little green cabinet Laura found in the dumpster. She pulled it out of the dumpster last year and brought it up here on her terrace, which she uses in the summertime to grow things. Like, she has a green thumb, and she's been using Guy Wolf pots for years to grow all kinds of things. And when I saw this green cabinet last year, I just thought it would be so beautiful to fill it with flower pots, mainly because of the color contrast. This green against the red terracotta pots. So this year, in the spring, I started making pots, small pots, with the goal of making stacks of pots. And when I say stacks, it's like, oh, these pots stack together. So I wanted to make stacks for Laura and bring them up here to Toronto solely for the purpose of seeing this cupboard full of red terracotta pots, color contrast. And the wonderful thing is that when I'm up here, Laura is often growing things that we gift to people, and I thought it would be really nice to just have a whole bunch of small pots that could be given away to people as a gift. So I stamped Laura's initials in them, and I transported all of these up to Canada just a few days ago, and we had some breakage. Only a few pots. Out of about 50 pots, 4 broke. So I am going to show you what we're going to do with one of these pots. We're going to move inside. Look at this. I just think this is so beautiful. So I'm here in Laura's apartment, and I have a wonderful plant with me here. This is a Pelargonium geranium, which is a very old variety of geranium, and there's quite a beautiful story here. I got a cutting of this geranium from Guy's wife, Erica, and Guy got a cutting of this geranium from Thomas Jefferson's estate, Monticello. And Thomas Jefferson was apparently given a cutting of the first geranium that was brought to America in the early 1800s. And there is a painting commemorating either the geranium being brought to America or cultivated in America, the first geranium in America, basically, in 1801. And this painting is called Rubens Peale with a Geranium. Rubens Peale was like a plant person, botanist, and his brother, Rembrandt Peale, was a painter. So his brother painted a commemorative portrait of commemorating his brother and the geranium, and also this first geranium in America. And this is a descendant of that plant. So that's pretty amazing. Now, Guy was very aware of this painting decades ago and started making the flower pot that's in that painting. And he calls it the Peale pot because the guy that is in the painting is named Peale. So I have learned how to make the Peale pot over the years from learning from Guy, and I love this flower pot. It is, the silhouette of this flower pot is a Georgian flower pot. And the story here that you're looking at right now is that when I'm here with Laura in Toronto, I'm always marveling at what she has done with these cuttings. She just has a green thumb, so I gave her one little cutting, and over the last couple of years, the geraniums she has grown have just thrived, and she's constantly making cuttings and propagating them and giving them away. When I come to visit her, there's always a situation where I need a gift for somebody, and it is so wonderful to give them a cutting of this geranium with a little greeting card. I had these printed up. I had these little greeting cards printed up. So what I do is I give them this greeting card in an envelope. I write a little message, and then I give them a cutting of the geranium that Laura has propagated in one of these Peale pots that I've made. And it's just so special, because then I tell them, like, this is the pot and the plant from this painting. It's a descendant of this actual plant. So that's really special, and that was one of the incentives. The last time I was here with Laura, she said, why don't you just make a bunch of little pots and bring them up here so you have them here for whenever you visit, because inevitably you'll end up needing one. So on this trip, I will be visiting a very special person, my old pottery teacher from high school, the first place I started making pottery. She has become a very close family friend. Her name is Mrs. Burke, that's what I call her. And I made some flower pots with her name stamped in them, in these pots, and stamped the year. And you know, I don't take credit for any of this. I learned all of this from Guy. This is what Guy does, and he has pulled this practice from the 19th century of stamping pots with the name of where they were manufactured, and sometimes even the estate or the place that they were made for. So putting Mrs. Burke's name on there just makes this extra special. She is a great gardener. She has a beautiful garden, and when she found out about these geraniums and Laura propagating these cuttings, she wanted some. So I thought, oh, I'm gonna make her some nice Peale pots and then bring them up here, plant them with the geranium cuttings that Laura has just has so many of them, and then give this as a gift to her tomorrow. So this is how I would pop this up. Let me clear some space here, and then I'm going to give her this card as well, so that she has a reference. There's the Peale pot right there. Okay, so remember those pots that I mentioned that broke on the way here? I did not throw them away. These are some of the pots that broke. What I would do is I'd put a shard in the bottom of this pot to cover this drainage hole. And because this is curved, it's going to just sit on top and cover the hole, but it's still going to allow excess water to go through there. So I just need a hammer. And I think, oh, I know this apartment well enough to know where there's a hammer. So proud of myself. So this is what I do. And then then you have small pots, small shards, because you want the shard to be big enough to cover the hole, but small enough to fit in the pot. So I'm gonna just take this and put this in here, like that. That's why you hold on to these broken pots. Very handy. And then I'm going to put multiple cuttings in this pot. So, and this plant, because it's really hardy and grows kind of like a weed, it's very easy to propagate. You just cut off a branch and put it in some water and wait until it roots. And then once it has some roots on it, you can pot it up in soil. Like this one right here is the one that I'm going to use. It has roots on it. So because this is so long, I think I'm going to really get it in there. So that's pretty good. And then I'm going to put in a couple more smaller plants, like just all in the same pot, so that it kind of looks like the painting. And they'll just grow together in here. There. Okay. Okay, now that the plants are in here, I'm going to anchor them by just pushing down and making sure there are no air pockets in here. And then once I've tamped down, we'll give this a good watering. I think that looks great. Okay, there. I think maybe later I'll also stake this, just so that it has some support, because it's very tall and spindly, and I want to keep it, but it's very susceptible to being broken as is. So I'll stake this later. But there we go. There is the Peale pot with this antique geranium planted up for Mrs. Burke with her name stamped in the pot. I'm very pleased with this this option of a gift to give someone. It's just so special. It's such a wonderful thing to have a friend who has a green thumb and is able to keep propagating these geraniums. The Peale pot and the Peale geranium. Thank you, Guy. Thank you, Monticello. Thank you, Peale.